Alright, let's just cut to the chase. Donald Trump wants to end birthright citizenship. Yes, the thing that makes you American just by being born here. The thing written in the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. The thing that's been in place for more than 125 years. Trump's administration is now asking the Supreme Court to back his executive order that says, if your parents are here illegally or even temporarily, you're not an American citizen. This is not just a political debate, this is a full-on attempt to rewrite the meaning of being American. So let's break this down, what's actually happening, why it matters, and how it could change the lives of millions of people in this country forever. First, a quick disclaimer, this is satirical commentary based on AP News report. This is my take for entertainment purpose, no hate intended. So Trump's lawyers just filed a petition with the Supreme Court. They want the justices to uphold his birthright citizenship restrictions. Right now, lower courts across the country have blocked those restrictions, calling them unconstitutional. But the administration is playing the long game. They are basically saying, hey Supreme Court, give us the final word. Decide once and for all, does being born here really make you a citizen? And if the Supreme Court says yes to Trump's plan, America as we know it changes. Let's rewind. After the Civil War, America had a massive question. What do we do about black people who were formerly enslaved? Were they citizens? Did they belong here? To answer that, Congress passed the 14th Amendment in 1868. And the very first sentence says, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. That's it. That's the line. That's the guarantee. Unless your parents are foreign diplomats or part of an invading army, if you're born here, you're in. Why? Because America wanted to make citizenship simple, clear, and untouchable. No more second-class status. No more loopholes. No more, well, technically you don't belong. Birthright citizenship was America's way of saying, this is a country you can be born into. No paperwork, no bloodlines, just the soil beneath your feet. Trump doesn't like that. He signed an executive order on day one of his second term basically saying, if your parents are undocumented or here temporarily, your citizenship doesn't count. And courts across the country have already said, nope, illegal, unconstitutional. But here's the scary part. This case is heading to the Supreme Court. We're talking about a court that has already given Trump big wins in executive power, immigration restrictions, and presidential immunity. So the fact that Trump is confident enough to send this issue up the ladder tells you how high the stakes are. Trump's side is saying the phrase, subject to the jurisdiction, means children of undocumented immigrants don't count. They argue these kids are foreign citizens who shouldn't get automatic American citizenship. The other side, civil rights groups, immigrant rights lawyers, constitutional scholars are saying that's not how the 14th Amendment works. The entire point was to prevent politicians from picking and choosing who counts. If you're born here, you belong here, period. And every lower court so far has agreed with that. They've either struck down Trump's order or said it's likely unconstitutional. But here's where it gets real. If Trump wins, millions of kids, future kids, could be denied citizenship. Think about that. You're born in Los Angeles, New York, Houston, Atlanta, but because your parents are here on a visa or undocumented, suddenly you're not a citizen. You are stateless. That's not just a paperwork problem, that's a life problem. You can't vote, you can't get federal benefits, you can't even have the security of calling this your country, even though it's literally the only country you've ever known. This isn't just about undocumented families. This affects tourists, international students, temporary workers, anyone who isn't a permanent resident or citizen. Basically, Trump wants to turn birthright citizenship into an exclusive club, not a birthright. Here's a bigger thing you need to see. This fight over citizenship is part of a pattern. Look at Trump's immigration policies. The travel ban targeting Muslim countries, family separations at the border, limiting asylum seekers, expanding deportations, all of it has the same underlying message. Who gets to belong here? And now he's going after the most foundational definition of belonging, being born here. This is not about border security. This is about identity. It's about narrowing the definition of who counts as American and who doesn't. So what happens next? The Supreme Court hasn't even decided if they'll hear the case yet. That decision could take months. If they do take it up, arguments probably won't happen until winter or spring, and a ruling could come by next summer. That means for the next year, this question, what does it mean to be American, is literally on trial. And don't forget, the Supreme Court is not some neutral robot. This is the same court that has tilted conservative for years. The same court that just gave Trump expanded power to fire federal officials. The same court that's been reinterpreting decades of law in ways that lean toward executive authority. So yeah, it's possible to back Trump on this. But here's what gets lost in all the legal jargon. This isn't just about constitutional theory. This is about families. Imagine being a kid growing up in America, pledging allegiance to the flag, eating PB&J, watching the NBA Finals, and then being told, actually, you don't count, you're not one of us. That's not just cruel, that's destabilizing. It creates a permanent underclass of people who live here, but never truly belong here. And history tells us that never ends well. Now, some of you might be thinking, wait, hasn't Trump floated this before? Yes, during his first term, he talked about ending birthright citizenship by executive order. But most people thought it was bluster. This time is different. Why? Because he actually signed the order on day one of his second term. Because he has a Solicitor General willing to defend it all the way to the top. And because the courts are reshaped in his image. This isn't just rhetoric, this is real. So here's the bottom line. Birthright citizenship is one of the most important promises America ever made. It's what made this country different from Europe, where nationality was tied to bloodlines. It's what allowed immigrants from around the world to come here and know their kids would belong. And it's what ensured that citizenship couldn't be stripped away by politicians. If Trump gets his way, that promise disappears. And once you start unraveling the 14th Amendment, where does it stop? Today it's undocumented immigrants. Tomorrow it's legal immigrants. Next it could be entire groups of people politicians don't like. Because at the end of the day, this fight isn't just about who gets a passport, it's about who gets to be American. So the question we have to ask is simple. Are we a country that keeps moving the goalpost of belonging? Or are we a country that says, if you're born here, you belong here, no exceptions? Because if the Supreme Court sides with Trump, then the definition of America won't be written by the Constitution. It will be rewritten by politicians. And that's not just unconstitutional, that's un-American.